Anyone want some oatmeal?
No, Ma.
Yes, Mrs. Castorini, I would love some oatmeal.
No, we don't want any oatmeal.
Hello and welcome to the fourth entry of my film journal, where I record my experience watching your favorite movie. I'm Frankie, and today I'll be howling at the moon with Moonstruck. Listen, I'll just cut to the chase. You love Cher, I love Cher. The Academy Awards in 1988 love Cher for the role in this movie. Nicolas Cage is in it. What else do we need? Let's just go. Let's just dive into the full moon. I don't know how that would work, but okay. New York City. It's November, but it's apparently never too early for Christmas decorations. Dean Martin bellows "That's Amore" as the full moon shines over the Metropolitan Opera, where Puccini's La Bohème is set to be performed. Loretta Castrini, played by Cher, whom hopefully needs no introduction, especially after how I started this video, but yeah, Loretta works as a bookkeeper for different businesses around New York City, and after a day at work, she heads to dinner with her boyfriend Johnny before he heads to Sicily. We see them discussing another couple in the restaurant who had an argument before a waiter announces to another waiter. They're like, hey, you know what will happen? Johnny's gonna propose to Loretta. But they talk so loudly. How did Loretta not hear them gossiping about her future proposal? I don't know. Johnny's really slick about the whole proposal thing.
What's the matter with you?
My scalp is not getting enough blood sometimes.
And Loretta is taken aback a little, and she explains that she was married before and that her previous husband died, and she was just like, I think we had bad luck because we didn't follow tradition, and that's why he died. That's how it goes. Follow tradition. So she asks Johnny to do the proposal properly on his knee, and turns out this guy didn't even bring a ring, which is the one thing that you normally would need to propose to someone. But okay, Loretta's like, she's resourceful. She's like, just use your pinky ring. He does it, and she accepts. He fucking did it. Quite badly, but he did it. And everyone's like, yay, this proposal sucked, but they're getting married, yay. So they pay the check, they leave, and in the car, Loretta's like, so what about, like, when are we getting married? When's the wedding? And Johnny's like, see, like, I gotta go to Sicily to see my dying mother. We can't be, like, making all these decisions now. Like, can't we just do it when I get back? Like, she can just die, and then I'll be back in a week or two, and we'll get married. But Loretta, rightly so, is like, she wants a proper answer. She's a little superstitious about, the whole bad luck thing in their wedding. So they set a date for a month from right then. That way, what's his face? Johnny can go to Sicily, and Loretta can just, like, plan the whole wedding in that month. Because he doesn't need to do anything. He barely needed to propose,
I'll take care of it, Johnny. I'll take care of the whole thing. All you gotta do is show up.
So they get to the airport, and Johnny's like, oh, right. Other than also, like, planning the wedding, there's just one more thing. You call my brother and invite him to our wedding. We haven't spoken in 5 years. We had some bad blood, but you go talk to him instead of me. He's also the son of our dying mother, but whatever, it's not important. You just go and invite him to the wedding. As the plane is leaving, an elderly lady says she put a curse on the plane because her sister's on it, and she hopes it explodes because her sister stole a man she loved, like, ages ago or something. Why do, like, the narratives of old Sicilian women always involve curses? Is that an actual thing?
Between Atlantic water She'll swallow her up, swallow her up, swallow her up.
Loretta doesn't really believe in curses, but she believes in bad luck, so that makes sense. Anyhow, with Johnny on, she stops by a bodega, which I assume is to buy like champagne or some stuff. I don't really drink, so I don't know what bottle this is, but she gets a drink and she heads home. There are puppies in her house. Many dogs. Maybe I'm making this point out to be a bit more important than needed, but they're dogs. And we meet her grandpa and her father, Cosmo. He utters the most dad line I've ever heard.
I can't sleep anymore. It's too much like death.
After that, Loretta tells him the big news. She is getting married. And Cosmo is not happy. He literally calls Johnny a big baby.
When he smiles, I can't see his teeth. What does he hide?
Cosmo is basically upset because he too believes in bad luck. So Loretta tries to convince him that, if we follow tradition, it'll be all right. It will work out. Both of them are kind of unhappy and they head upstairs to tell Loretta's mom, Rose, about the news too. And she immediately thinks someone died. So that's also my reaction when my relatives call me. Loretta's like, I don't really love Johnny, but I like him. And, because of tradition, Cosmo's gonna pay for the wedding. So Cosmo is kind of like, what? I'm not paying for anything. And he basically leaves a Cosmo-shaped hole in the wall when he exits the room.
Now he's gonna play that damn Vicky Carr record, and when he comes to bed, he won't touch me.
You think these two are maybe having some marital problems? I'm sensing a vibe.
It's too much like death. Too much like death. Too much like death.
The next day, Grandpa, whom I aspire to be with his bajillion dogs, meets up with his mates in a cemetery, and he explains to his friends that he's worried about his son Cosmo making himself look bad because he thinks that Cosmo should pay for Loretta's wedding, but Cosmo's being a little stingy. Back at the house though, Rose and Loretta discuss their living arrangements because obviously getting married is a whole thing, and the thing is that everyone kind of hates Johnny, so Loretta's like, I guess we can't live in the house. The house is really huge, so if Loretta moves out, they might have to sell the house. So it's a conundrum. But, speak of the devil, Johnny calls from Sicily from his mother's deathbed. And he's like, well, I haven't really told her yet that we're getting married, but did you talk to my brother? Remember the thing I asked you to do just before I left? I think it's important that you talk to my brother because family is really important. Why she gotta repair your broken relationship with your brother though? Like, basically everyone's like, this guy needs to not be around us. Even his dying mom is kind of over him. So Loretta calls Ronnie, Johnny's brother. Fantastic names. He's basically as dramatic as his brother, so we know that runs in the family. And he's basically just like, what's wrong can never be made right. And he just slams the phone. So Loretta heads to the bakery basement to talk to him face to face. Ronnie, played by Nick Cage, is being very dramatic, and he's just like,
in case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in.
He explains that he has no life because Johnny took it from him, and he's upset that Johnny is now having his life because he's getting married.
What is life?
Baby, don't hurt me.
They say bread is life.
Don't hurt me.
He has a whole meltdown, and he threatens to cut his own throat with a knife. But since everyone in the basement is like, we're not giving you a knife, he reveals his wooden fingers and explains that 5 years ago he was engaged to be married, and one time Johnny came to buy bread, and because they were just like chit-chatting, he accidentally put his fingers in the bread slicer because he wasn't paying attention. So his fiance left him after that because he had no fingers. So he blames Johnny.
I lost my hand! I lost my bride! Johnny has his hand! Johnny has his bride!
So Ronnie's like, it's just a matter of time before a man opens his eyes and gives up his one dream of happiness. To some, Cage's performance might feel a little dramatic for just everything else that we have seen in this movie so far, but I watched a few interviews with him, and he actually stated in the interviews that he got inspiration for the role from the film Metropolis, which is a German expressionist film. So it just explains a lot. It just it explains a lot about that performance. But I guess, the guy did get his fingers cut off, and he's been stuck in this bakery for 5 years, just shoving coal in the oven and making bread. So I guess you have time to kind of indulge in the drama. Now, before we see Loretta and Ronnie head upstairs to Ronnie's flat to talk, they're going there to talk. We see a little plot twist, and we find out that Cosmo has been having an affair. Dad's doing some stuff he's not supposed to. Ay. We'll come back to this later. I'm just giving you a heads up. Loretta makes Ronnie a steak. Totally normal thing to do for someone in their own house. She makes Ronnie a steak over food. They exchange their stories. They psychoanalyze each other in very, very scientific ways. Loretta calls Ronnie a wolf, and Ronnie's like, why are you marrying my brother? He sucks. He sucks so bad. Why are you marrying him? So yeah, they basically get to know each other, and by that I mean they get to really know each other. And there's opera playing in the background.
What are you doing?
Son of a bitch!
Where are you taking me?
To the bed.
Loretta's family discuss Loretta's love life over dinner, just casual family stuff. Basically, Rose's brother recollects a memory where the full moon woke him up once years ago when Rose and Cosmo first started seeing each other, and he saw Cosmo just standing outside of their house like a weirdo under the full moon. This story kind of brings up a little tension between them because obviously Cosmo has been like acting a little sus lately. Now everyone is looking up at the moon at night. It's so full, it's so bright, and it's making everyone horny. Everyone just looking at the shiny moon and getting hot and bothered. Except Grandpa. He's just taking his dogs out for a walk and howling at the moon, to each their own. Loretta wakes up in Ronnie's arms and she comes to her senses. I have bad luck. This is bad luck. Everything's messed up. We're never ever gonna talk about this ever again. You're not gonna tell your brother. I'm gonna marry him. And Ronnie's like, but I'm in love with you. And this gives us this classic line.
Snap out of it.
Ronnie then convinces Loretta to at least go to the opera with him, and she's like, okay, I'll only go to the opera with you. Then she leaves and she goes to confession. Natural course of events. I feel like this priest just wanna hear the gossip firsthand, She also finds her mum praying at the church, and she tells Loretta that Cosmo's cheating on her. Loretta is like, no way, he wouldn't do that. He's old. And she heads out to her aunt and uncle's store to pick up a deposit to take to the bank. It's time for a makeover. Loretta goes to the hairdresser and she buys a new outfit, and she gets snatched for a totally normal outing with her fiance's brother Ronnie, of course. Just they're only going to the opera. I promise you. We're for family. We are going to the opera. They meet up at the Met, and music erupts as their eyes meet. They're kind of like, you look good. You also look good. We're here for just a regular thing. Ronnie leans in for a kiss, but Loretta's like, no, I'm only here for the opera. And you'll also never guess who's also here. Oh, Dad is having an outing with his girlfriend. Uh-oh. While everyone else is at the opera, Rose goes to have dinner by herself, and she ends up having dinner with, remember the guy from the beginning who had like an argument with his girlfriend? It's the same guy, isn't it, from before? I have a feeling a big part of me filming myself watching movies is understanding that I have really bad facial memory for people. He had another argument with another girlfriend, and he gets like a glass of water or something thrown in his face, and then Rose and him start talking, so they end up basically dining together. During that, they have a conversation, and Rose hypothesizes, that's a word, is that a word? Anyway, Rose hypothesizes that men only chase women because they fear death. And the professor dude, you know, very smart. I'm not really sure if he had a name. I'm sure he had a name, but I don't know the name. So Professor Dude loves when young women admire him before they get to know him and realize that he's a jerk. So Professor Dude walks Rose home, and Grandpa with his gang of dogs see them. Basically, Rose decides to leave the situation there and bids farewell with the Professor Dude, even though he's like trying to be a little cheeky and trying to convince her to come to his apartment. While watching the opera, Ronnie kisses Loretta's hand, and they share a moment. It's so scandalous and so emotional. After the opera ends, Loretta sees her dad and realizes that her mother was right. He was having an affair, even though he's old. Yeah, she confronts her dad, who then confronts her because who's this dude you're here with? Like, isn't your fiance in Sicily? So they share a nice father-daughter moment. Everyone is caught red-handed, except the guy with the dogs, because he's chilling. After having a drink at a bar, Ronnie walks Loretta home, and they discuss Cosmos and their own infidelity. Ronnie's just like, playing it safe is the most dangerous thing a woman can do. And I was surprised. Like, we just... isn't this my apartment? How did we end up by my apartment? We were walking to your place. That's weird. We're at my apartment. Loretta's like, I have free will, and I can turn my bad luck around by the choices that I make. Ronnie's like, oh, my heart is so horny for you, though. And maybe we are here to be imperfect and make the wrong choice now, Loretta, and just get in my bed. Wow, that's the most romantic thing someone's ever said to me. And Loretta's like, okay, that makes sense. Let's do that. Plot twist time. Johnny arrives back from Sicily. Oh my god, dude. And heads to Loretta's place. And Rose is like, sheesh. This guy's back from Sicily. That sucks. But, you know, Loretta's not home from banging his brother yet, so Rose just makes him a drink and they have a little chat. Johnny's like, my mom recovered the moment I told her I'm getting married. It's a miracle. Rose is like, yeah, very interesting. Can you tell me why men chase women? Because she just like, the answer she got from the professor dude wasn't enough for her. Johnny goes on this whole spiel about God took a rib from Adam to make Eve, so maybe a man needs a woman to complete him, or maybe he just fears death. And Rose is immediately like, I fucking knew it. That's what I thought. I told people that men chase women because they fear death. That's how it works. I thought so. That's when Cosmo arrives home, and he's being very sus again about his whereabouts. And Rose is like, remember, you are gonna die. And yeah, Johnny heads home and asks Rose to tell Loretta to get in touch. Can't he get in touch? What's the deal? He can't do anything. The next morning, Loretta's kicking a can down the middle of the street in her ruby slippers. She's making her way home slowly. And, while she's kind of daydreaming down the street, Ronnie's at home blasting La Boheme. A hungover Rose tells Loretta Johnny's back and her mom ain't dead. and this upsets Loretta a lot. And then Rose gets upset because Loretta has a hickey on her neck. And then Ronnie shows up to the door and Rose is just like, you want some oatmeal? What else are you going to do in this situation, really? They all sit down for breakfast and wait for Johnny to show up. Grandpa also arrives in the kitchen and he just reads his son to filth about Cosmo not wanting to pay for Loretta's wedding. But, you know, it's good. They all sit down for oatmeal and Rose then like breaks the tension by asking Cosmo if she's been a good wife. She basically just tells him that she wants him to stop seeing his mistress and she wants him to go to confession, which is a pretty good deal under the circumstances, I feel like. Loretta's aunt and uncle show up as well, and they are not looking very happy because they think that maybe Loretta stole their money because she never took it to the bank. But it turns out she just forgot and she has the money, so everything is good, and they join this totally normal and not tense breakfast. Finally, Johnny shows up and says that he can't marry Loretta because otherwise his mother will die. A man of logic. This man, he has something in his noggin. Loretta gets upset and throws her engagement ring at him, and then Ronnie uses the exact same ring to ask for her hand in marriage.
What's the matter, Pop? I'm confused.
Time to celebrate. Yeah. I'm not sure what, but you know, they're getting married. Woo. So what's the moral of this story? I honestly don't know. Cheating bad unless full moon? Question mark. I think overall I actually really do enjoy this movie as a whole. The performances are great and it always makes me giggle at least a little bit, whether it's because of like Cage's performance or just the characters in general. But it's fun. It's a fun thing to watch. From a script writing perspective, the script form is really great and it creates a well-rounded story as a whole. I think it did win an Academy Award for Best Script as well. I don't remember though, but you know, if it did, it makes sense in terms of Hollywood. But finding a moral to end this video with, Mamma mia, that's a spicy moon ball? Can that be the ending? I feel like that's the ending. Bye.
Son of a bitch!
Hey you! Thanks for watching this video. If you like what I do, why not subscribe? Just over here. And yeah, let me know in the comments what movie I should watch next. YouTube thinks that you might enjoy this video next. Or I also worked on this thing, so feel free to check it out. Otherwise, I hope you all have fun watching your next movie. Bye! Look at those little guys.